Love. Hi, I'm Ryan Keyes. Welcome to episode 2 of The Secret Psychology of Twinflames. If you watched episode 1, you learned about the ache, why you can't stop thinking about them, and what that obsession is really telling you. Today, we're going deeper. We're exploring why you're so magnetically drawn to this specific person, why they feel like they're carrying something essential that you need, why losing them feels like losing a part of yourself. But before we start, I need you to do something. Go to ryankeyes.com/twinflames and download your free meditation, Coming Home to Your Heart. This foundational 10-minute practice will teach you heart coherence breathing, the technique that every other meditation in this series builds on. If you haven't gotten it yet, get it now. The link is in the description below. Now, today's episode corresponds to a specific meditation called Meeting Your Inner Lover. This is a 20-minute guided journey where you will actually encounter your anima, if you're masculine, or animus, if you're feminine, the inner figure that you've been projecting onto your twin flame. This meditation is powerful. It's where you start withdrawing the projection and reclaiming your wholeness. It's part of the complete meditative journey library. All 12 meditations for just $27. Normally $97 when you use code TWIN. Why get them all now? Because transformation is a process. You can't skip stages, and having all the practices from the beginning ensures nothing interrupts your healing journey. ryankeyes.com/twinflames code TWIN $27. Link is in the description. Okay, let's explore Jung's map. The question that changes everything. Here's the question I want you to sit with. What if the person you're obsessed with isn't actually who you think they are? What if everything you're seeing in them, the magic, the perfection, the completion they seem to offer, is actually something you're putting on them? What if they're a mirror, not a match? This isn't to diminish what you feel. The connection is real, the intensity is real, the recognition is real. But what you're recognizing isn't them, it's you. Carl Jung discovered something profound about love. We don't fall in love with people as they actually are. We fall in love with what they represent to us, with what they're carrying for us, with the parts of ourselves we see reflected in them. This is called projection. And understanding projection, really understanding it, is the key to transforming twin flame obsession into wholeness. What is projection? Let me explain this simply. Projection is a psychological mechanism where you unconsciously attribute your own qualities, feelings, or desires to another person. Think of it like a movie projector. You have an image on the film inside you, qualities, potentials, aspects of yourself, but you can't see that film directly, so your psyche projects it outward onto a screen. The other person becomes the screen, and suddenly you see in them all these amazing qualities. They're so creative. They're so free. They're so emotionally deep. They're so confident. They're so spiritual. They're so authentic. And you think, if only I could be with them, I would have access to all of that. But here's the truth. Those qualities aren't in them. They're in you. You're just seeing your own unlived life, your own undeveloped potential, your own disowned qualities reflected back through them. Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. I'd add, everything that mesmerizes us about others is showing us what we need to develop in ourselves. The anima and animus. Jung discovered that we all carry an inner opposite within our psyche. If you're primarily masculine, regardless of your biological sex or gender identity, you carry an inner feminine figure called the anima. If you're primarily feminine, you carry an inner masculine figure called the animus. These aren't just concepts. They're living psychological realities, autonomous figures within your unconscious that have their own personality, their own voice, their own agenda. The anima represents emotion and feeling, intuition and inner knowing, receptivity and flow, creativity and imagination, connection to the unconscious, the capacity for relationship and intimacy. The animus represents logic and structure, assertion and direction, boundaries and protection, action and accomplishment, connection to the conscious mind, the capacity for autonomy and independence. Here's what's crucial to understand. Most people have never consciously met their anima or animus. These inner figures remain unconscious, undeveloped, projected outward. And when you meet someone in the external world who embodies these qualities, someone who carries your anima or animus energy, it feels like destiny. Because in a way it is. They're showing you the part of yourself you've been searching for your whole life. How this shows up in twin flames. Let me give you some examples of how anima-animus projection shows up in twin flame dynamics. Example 1, the masculine projecting the anima. Marcus is a successful entrepreneur, logical, driven, achievement-oriented. He's built a life based on doing, accomplishing, making things happen. Then he meets Sophia. She's artistic, emotional, intuitive, flowing. She paints. She feels deeply. She trusts her gut. She moves through life with a kind of ease he's never experienced. He's instantly mesmerized. She feels like everything he's missing. When he's with her, he feels more alive, more creative, more connected to something deeper than just achievement. When she pulls away or needs space, he panics because it feels like he's losing access to his own soul. But here's what's really happening. Marcus has lived entirely in his masculine. He's developed logic, structure, accomplishment, but he's completely undeveloped in his feminine, his feeling, his intuition, his creativity, his flow. Sophia isn't his missing piece. She's a mirror showing him what he needs to develop within himself. The obsession isn't about her. It's about his soul crying out, "You've abandoned your inner feminine. It's time to reclaim her." Example 2, the feminine projecting the animus. Elena is empathic, nurturing, emotionally attuned. She's always putting others first, feeling into what they need, adapting herself to keep harmony. Then she meets David. He's boundaried, decisive, direct. He knows what he wants and isn't afraid to claim it. He says no without guilt. He has a kind of self-assuredness she's never felt. She's instantly drawn to him. He feels like the strength she's never had. When he's protective of her, she feels safe in a way she never felt as a child. When he makes decisions confidently, she feels like she can finally relax and not carry everything. When he withdraws or seems distant, she spirals into anxiety because it feels like she's losing her ground, her protection, her backbone. But here's what's really happening. Elena has lived entirely in her feminine. She's developed empathy, nurturing, emotional attunement, but she's completely undeveloped in her masculine, her boundaries, her assertion, her decisiveness, her self-protection. David isn't her missing piece. He's a mirror showing her what she needs to develop within herself. The obsession isn't about him. It's about her soul crying out, "You've abandoned your inner masculine. It's time to reclaim him." Why this feels like the one. Now you understand why twin flames feel so much more intense than regular relationships. You're not just attracted to a person. You're encountering your own wholeness for the first time. All your life, you've been living as half a person. Too much masculine, not enough feminine. Too much feminine, not enough masculine. Too much logic, not enough feeling. Too much feeling, not enough structure. You've been split, imbalanced, incomplete, and then you meet someone who embodies what you've been missing. And for the first time, you feel whole. Not because they complete you, but because they're reflecting your own wholeness back to you. That's why it feels like the one. That's why you have dreams about them, synchronicities, a sense of destiny. Your unconscious is screaming, "Pay attention. This person is showing you what you need to integrate. This is your path to wholeness." But most people misunderstand the message. They think, "I need to be with this person to feel whole." The actual message is, I need to develop these qualities within myself to become whole. My story, chasing the missing part of myself. Let me tell you about my own anima projection. When I met who I thought was my twin flame, I was completely identified with my masculine. I was a Hollywood stunt actor, all physical prowess, achievement, performance, control. I prided myself on being strong, independent, rational, but I'd completely disconnected from my feminine. I didn't feel my emotions, I analyzed them, I didn't trust my intuition, I only trusted logic, I didn't create for the joy of it, I only achieved for external validation. Then I met her. She was everything I wasn't. Emotional, intuitive, creative, flowing. She wrote poetry, she painted. She felt things so deeply it scared me. She trusted hunches that made no logical sense, but turned out to be right. I was captivated. When I was with her, I felt more alive than I'd ever felt, like I was finally accessing some part of myself I'd locked away. When she pulled back, I felt like I was dying, like she was taking my soul with her. I tried everything to get her back. I read every twin flame article. I looked for signs from the universe. I convinced myself we were cosmically destined, and if I just waited long enough, she'd return. But what I was actually chasing was my own feminine. She wasn't my other half. She was showing me the half of myself I'd abandoned. The creativity I'd suppressed to be serious and professional. The emotional depth I'd shut down to be strong and controlled. The intuition I'd ignored to be logical and rational. The vulnerability I'd hidden to be masculine and invulnerable. I didn't need her. I needed to develop those qualities in myself, and when I finally did, when I started painting, writing, feeling my emotions, trusting my intuition, something profound shifted. The obsession dissolved, not because I stopped caring about her, but because I stopped needing her to feel whole. I'd found my anima within myself, the problem with projection. Here's why projection creates so much suffering. 1. You give your power away. When you project your wholeness onto someone else, you make them responsible for your completeness. They become the source of your happiness, your aliveness, your sense of self, and that's an unbearable burden to place on another person. 2. You can't see them clearly. When someone is carrying your projection, you can't see who they actually are. You only see the idealized image you've placed on them. That's why twin flames often have this quality of I know you, even though you just met. You do know them, but you're knowing your own inner figure reflected back. 3. You chase an illusion. The person you're chasing isn't real. You're chasing your own anima or animus projected onto a human being, and no human being can live up to an archetypal projection. Eventually, they'll fail to match your fantasy. They'll be human, flawed, inconsistent, separate from you, and you'll feel betrayed, abandoned, rejected. But they haven't rejected you. You've rejected yourself by refusing to integrate what they're showing you. 4. You can't have a real relationship. Real relationship requires two whole people choosing to connect. But when you're in maximum projection, there's no real relationship happening. There's you, relating to your projection, trying to get your anima or animus to stay on the screen instead of integrating it within yourself. That's not love. That's psychological dependency. The difference between projection and recognition. Now, some of you might be thinking, but wait, I really do see special qualities in this person. Are you saying nothing about them is real? No, that's not what I'm saying. There's a difference between projection and recognition. Projection. You're seeing qualities in them that they don't actually possess. Or you're inflating normal qualities into extraordinary ones because you're seeing your own unlived potential. Recognition. You're accurately seeing qualities they do possess, and those qualities resonate because they match something you value or want to develop. Here's how to tell the difference. If it's projection, you idealize them completely, they can do no wrong. You can't see their flaws or explain them away. You feel desperate, incomplete, obsessed. Losing them feels like losing yourself. You're willing to abandon your values, boundaries, or integrity to keep them. If it's recognition, you see them clearly, both strengths and limitations. You appreciate their qualities without needing to possess them. You feel inspired to develop similar qualities in yourself. Losing them would hurt, but you'd survive and still be whole. You maintain your values, boundaries, and integrity. Real love says, I see who you are, and I appreciate you. Your presence in my life is a gift, but I'm complete without you. Projection says, I need you to be who I think you are so I can feel whole. Don't change. Don't leave. Stay exactly as I need you to be. So how do you withdraw the projection? You meet your anima or animus directly. Instead of searching for them in the external world, you turn inward and encounter them within your own psyche. This is exactly what Jung did. He used a technique called active imagination, a form of conscious dialogue with unconscious figures. And this is what the meditation, Meeting Your Inner Lover, guides you through. Here's what happens in the practice. Step 1, heart coherence breathing. You calm your nervous system and create the inner space for the encounter. Step 2, the mirror visualization. You approach an inner mirror, a threshold between conscious and unconscious. Step 3, the figure appears. Your anima inner feminine or animus inner masculine emerges from the reflection. You see them, sense them, feel their presence. Step 4, the dialogue. You ask them, what do you want me to know? And you listen, really listen, to what they say, what they show you, what they need from you. Step 5, the integration. You embrace them. You draw them into your heart. You integrate them as a living part of yourself. Step 6, the shift. You realize they were never out there. They've always been in here. This practice changes everything, because once you've met your inner lover, once you've established a conscious relationship with your anima or animus, the external twin flame loses their power over you. Not because you stopped caring, but because you've found what you were seeking. You've brought the projection home. What happens after you integrate? When you integrate your anima or animus, several things shift. 1, the obsession dissolves. You stop checking your phone compulsively. You stop stalking their social media. You stop organizing your life around whether they'll text back, because you're no longer dependent on them for access to your own wholeness. 2, you develop new capacities. If you've integrated your anima, you become more emotionally attuned, more creative and flowing, more intuitive and trusting, more connected to your inner life. If you've integrated your animus, you become more boundaried and decisive, more confident and assertive, more structured and directed, more connected to your purpose. 3, your attraction patterns change. You stop being drawn to people who carry your projection. You start being drawn to people who are actually compatible with your wholeness. You stop needing intense, dramatic push-pull dynamics. You start valuing stability, mutual respect, secure attachment. 4, real relationship becomes possible, either with your twin flame, if they're willing and capable of meeting you as two whole people, or with someone new, someone who matches your actual values and needs, not your projected fantasy. Either way, you win, because you're no longer living as half a person desperately seeking completion. You're whole. The daily ritual, mirror work with your wholeness. Here's a simple daily practice to strengthen your relationship with your inner lover. Every morning, stand in front of a mirror, look into your own eyes, place one hand on your heart. Say out loud, I am both. I contain masculine and feminine. I am whole. Ask, what does my inner feminine or masculine need from me today? Listen for the answer. Commit to one small action that honors that need. Maybe your anima needs creative expression, paint, write, dance. Emotional presence, feel your feelings without fixing them. Rest and receptivity, stop, pushing, allow. Beauty and pleasure, flowers, music, soft textures. Maybe your animus needs decisive action, make a choice and commit. Boundary setting, say no to something that's draining you. Physical embodiment, exercise, movement, strength training. Purposeful direction, work toward a goal that matters. Do this daily for 30 days and watch what happens. The external twin flame will either transform into a healthy, mutual relationship, naturally fall away as your need for them dissolves. Either way, you'll be whole. What happens next? In the next episodes, we'll explore myths of the divine couple, the archetypal patterns you're unconsciously living out, hero and maiden, king and queen, magician and priestess, and what gifts they're offering you. Episode 4, the stages of the twin flame journey, the 5 predictable stages everyone goes through, and where you are right now. Episode 5, shadow couples, when projections go dark, savior and victim, tyrant and servant, manipulator and enabler, and how to recognize if you're in a trauma bond. But all of that builds on what we've covered today: projection, anima, and animus, the inner lover. This is the foundation. This is where you start reclaiming your power. Okay, you've learned about projection. You understand the anima and animus. You know why your twin flame has such power over you. Now it's time to actually meet your inner lover. Here's what you need to do. Step 1, download your free meditation. If you haven't yet, go to ryankeys.com/twinflames and get Coming Home to Your Heart. This foundational practice teaches heart coherence breathing, which prepares you for the deeper work. Step 2, get the complete meditation library. The meditation for this episode, Meeting Your Inner Lover, is a 20-minute guided journey where you'll actually encounter your anima or animus. This isn't just visualization. This is active imagination. This is Jung's technique for withdrawing projection and integrating the inner opposite. It's profound, it's life-changing, and it's waiting for you. This meditation is part of the complete Meditative Journey library. All 12 practices for just $27, normally $97 with code TWIN. Get them all now. ryankeys.com/twinflames, code TWIN. Why wait? Each episode builds on the last. Each practice prepares you for the next. Having all the meditations from the beginning ensures your transformation isn't interrupted. Step 3, do the daily mirror practice. Starting tomorrow, stand in front of a mirror, hand on heart. I am whole. I contain both. Ask what your inner lover needs. Give them one thing. 30 days, every day. Watch what happens. Step 4, watch episode 3. Next week, we're exploring myths of the divine couple, the archetypal patterns that shape your love story, and what gifts they're offering you. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss it. Step 5, join the community. Comment below. Are you primarily masculine or feminine in your energy? What qualities do you see in your twin flame that you need to develop in yourself? Have you ever sensed your inner lover? What do they feel like? Let's support each other in this work. Final words. The person you're obsessed with isn't your other half. They're a mirror. They're showing you the parts of yourself you've abandoned, disowned, or never developed. And your job, your sacred work, is to stop chasing them out there and start meeting them in here, in your own psyche, in your own heart, in your own wholeness. When you do that, when you meet your inner lover and integrate them, everything changes. The desperate need transforms into peaceful wholeness. The obsession transforms into freedom. The projection transforms into self-realization. That's Jung's map. that's the way through. Download your free meditation, ryankeys.com/twinflames. Get the complete library. ryankeys.com/twinflames, code TWIN. And I'll see you in episode 3, where we explore the ancient myths that have been shaping your love story all along. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this work. You're not chasing them. You're becoming whole.